Hi. So the question is, what does a Vritti coach do? Okay. So a coach is a coach, facilitates to bring about a transformation, a change, a learning in the other person, such that it is most beneficial to the person. Vritti coach. Vritti here in my name, when I add Suchitra Parekh, the Vritti coach, I'm referring to Vritti as Chitta Vritti, as spoken of in yoga. In the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, Maharshi Patanjali defines yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So the Vritti coach comes from Chitta Vritti. So one can correctly call it Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Okay, so what is Chitta? To put it very simply, that determining faculty of our existence, of a mind, of a being, that takes all the decisions, makes all the choices. It is the decision making and it's the choice making capacity that makes human beings a unique living being. Vritti is this functioning of this chitta, and its functioning has been described to be in two shades. After Patanjali says that Chitta Vritti Nirodha, he goes on to describe that Vritti could be Klishta or Aklishta. So to say that which is tainted and or negative, tainted with non-beneficial, non-contributing thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs, attitudes, and all that. Whereas Aklishta is free from all this. So the different ways in which the mind functions, and it is through these vrittis that there is a connection between us, the human beings, and the world around. Every other living, non-living being we connect with through this mental modification called Chitta Vritti. And then, of course, he goes on to describe 5 different types of vritti: pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, smriti, and all that. Finally, for the purification of these vrittis from the tainted one to become the untainted one, from the non-beneficial to the ones that are beneficial, there are ways that he suggests. I want to particularly refer to the way that he has suggested, which is very popular, the Ashtanga Yoga of Maharshi Patanjali. It is an 8-fold path, a systematized way that Patanjali has suggested for a sure shot success of each and every one. Whether that person's mind is very distracted or occasionally concentrated, not able to focus easily. But if one is able to follow these 8 steps, beginning anywhere, and do it while being in touch with themselves, they are sure to reach the highest in yoga. And the highest in yoga is moksha, as commonly understood by people, self-realization, the true being that one is, the spiritual being that one is, may call it a spirit, call it Atma. In yoga, there's a technical term used as Purusha. Purusha Khyati is, what is it? But let's talk of Eightfold Path, where it says Viveka Khyati, gaining discriminative ability. Discriminative, what to discriminate between? What your true self is and what is not, the real and the unreal. Okay, so having to put this context for the Eightfold Path and Vritti, let us begin by understanding that in Vritti, I mentioned so many things, the various changes that happens in it, the modification that happens has to be stopped. Now, if you have to stop anything, means you have to be able to have control over it. You should be able to manage it, access it, you should know it. Like if you want to regulate the speed of the fan, you should know how to switch on the fan, you have to switch off the fan, and what to do so that the fan will become slow or will become fast. So you know how to use it. You may not know exactly how the fan is made and how it works and how the electricity flows and all that, and the connection is made. But you need to know how to use it. So let us directly come to that, because all the rest is the pure understanding that can be done later on in a different thing. But first, we must learn to use it. So how to use this vritti so that we can change them from non-beneficial to beneficial. In day-to-day life, we find ourselves caught up with a lot of things. Say the first thing as you wake up in the morning, you may find yourself either quick at rising up, you have a purpose in life and you wake up to it and you get going. Or you may not have anything definite to do that day, or not willing to do what is set, laid out for you to do that day, what has been planned for you or what you have planned. And maybe you're lazy, or you're tired, you've not had a good sleep for whatever reason. But right in the beginning of the day, there is a possibility that you need to change your mind from inaction to taking action of waking up, and getting ready for taking on the world. There comes another time now, so many decisions to make, right from whether you want to first go for the bath, or you want to first go for a walk, or you want to have your breakfast, or first make the breakfast, do it the way you want it, or get your breakfast done, you want to order from outside, any number of things, what you're going to wear, where you will go first, the prioritizing the day. There are so many things to make decision and so many reasons to choose various things. How do you know that you are making the appropriate choice? Do you have to be right always? Maybe yes, but right and wrong are so relative, no? So what is important is to have a larger purpose for which this one day and this very moment is going to be lived for. And it should be such that when we are doing whatever we are doing, our mind is there. Like you wake up, you get out of bed, but your mind is still very lazy and sleepy and you want to go to sleep. Or you are lying down in bed and you know that you have to go at such a time, and if you will not get up now, you will get late, and you're lying down in bed, but you're not sleeping and you are thinking of something else. So either way, what your mind is doing and what your body is doing are different. This is where the problem begins, and you find that whatever stage of the Ashtanga Yoga you may be practicing, which is very commonly people do asanas and pranayam, and now with all this pandemic that happened, people have become much more conscious about their health, and they are practicing a lot more of regularization of routine and some good hygiene and exercising and doing asanas, pranayam, breathing exercises and all that. So all that is happening. But the result that asanas and pranayams are supposed to produce are, as said by Maharishi Patanjali, who has given this system, are not the ones that people are actually achieving. Many do not even know what is the real purpose of the asanas and pranayam. But even those who are doing it for simple health benefits, etc., are, yes, maintaining it, no doubt about that. After all, if you are going to spend an hour every day in doing your yoga practices, work with the body, certain amount of toxins in your body are removed. So, and when the body is kept cleaner, neater, the certain amount of effect it will have on the mind, because after all, body and mind are very closely related. If you have hurt or pain in the body, your mind tells you, it is in pain, it's in agony. And if you are mentally disturbed with something, somebody has caused you insult or humiliated you, the body is also feeling low and lethargic and energyless, not able to function. So the two are very closely connected. Thoughts and feelings in the mind, and these actions in the body, and speech. Your speech and body are the psychomotor organs of your body, and the thinking is the cognitive aspect of our living being, and the feeling is the affective aspect. Now, thinking, feeling, action, and speech. So many different dilemmas. Means what we like, we have got up from the bed, but we are thinking of not going, not getting up. We are feeling like lying down. So there's no integration, there's no congruence. How to bring this about? You want to follow the asanas, pranayam. In asanas also so much of coordination is required. In pranayam, there's so much of regulation of breath that you have to do. And if you're doing it forcefully, it can harm you. It takes, asanas can become mechanical if there's no proper attitude involved with it. One can say otherwise, all those gymnasts and people who do all those kind of acrobatics in circus or in street shows, or nowadays we see them on talent shows and all that. They should be great yogis, but they're not. Unless and until, while doing this, there is a proper mental attitude associated with it of the result that Maharishi Patanjali has mentioned, that has to come about by practice of asanas and pranayam. How to go about getting that? Before giving asanas and pranayam, Patanjali has given two more steps, yama and niyama. While asana pranayam are for physical and physiological management of our existence, the yama and niyama are for the emotional balance, the affective domain. So beautifully done. And then After the emotional balance, by intrapersonal, and before that, interpersonal. So relationship with the outside world, then relationship with oneself, and then relationship with one's own body, and then with all our internal systems. Then comes the relationship with the mind. Means all these stages prepare you slowly, surely, gradually for the ultimate Viveka Khyati, the discriminative knowledge that you can have. So, coming back to the first two steps, the yama are for interpersonal emotional balance. There are a lot of emotions that comes up in our interactions with others. Our communications go haywire, or the communication is very good. So accordingly, we have poor relationship, or we have excellent relationship with the people around us, with things around us. We exercise ecological living, so there is good conservation, or we indulge into wasteful lifestyle, so then that is non-beneficial. So all these discernment, all these choices, and when this, to make these choices as our natural thing, is what yoga teaches us about. Before telling you about the key point, one more thing I will mention is that we often carry out this exercise in our yoga camps, wherein we tell the people who have come for the camp to write down 10 positive things of the day. They find it difficult. If you ask them to write down 10 positive things about themselves, even more difficult. But you ask them to mention 10 negatives, most people have a longer list than 10, whether it is about the day or about themselves. And it's easier to recollect and state and mention and commit. Now, is this beneficial or non-beneficial? This thinking, this belief, this way of looking at the world is definitely not beneficial and definitely not yogic. So to convert this kind of non-beneficial, I'm coming to the last key point that I set out to answer about what does a Vritti Coach do. So the Vritti Coach helps you to access this non-beneficial thoughts and feelings, attitudes and beliefs that are there in us, the attitude that we have, which makes us see the negative most of the time and more easily, can be tempered and broken down into its base matter, converted into the positive, and make it useful and beneficial for you. So say, for example, you find fault in the tone of voice of somebody who spoke to you, and you felt that this person is very insulting or a very bad person. You will not like to associate with that person. Now think of so many negatives that have gone in. That person is bad, that person's tone of voice is bad, is insulting me, so that person's thinking is negative. And you have, at the end of it, felt bad because of the other person's not so good behavior. And probably that person doesn't even realize that he or she has caused you this insult feeling and feeling bad and all that. Because we don't show it on our face, no? We are very clever in hiding, masking it all. We don't always show on our face. We don't let it be told, and we don't even say it. We just keep suffering it. This is collection of toxic material in your system, in your chitta, in your mind. This is non-beneficial vritti. Have you ever considered what does many of such non-beneficial vrittis being collected in your chitta will do to you over a period of time? It causes all types of disorders and diseases when it is collected. What should you do? What do we normally do when there is anything undesirable that is piling up in our house or in our body? We clean it up. So it is possible to clean up this mess, all these negative inputs that you have gathered and ignored. It's possible to not to let it settle, but just clean it up, change it, free yourself of it, and be light and open. I am not talking about suppressing it, ignoring it, forgetting it, just forgiving and forgetting and whatever's happened, just let it be. No. I am actually talking about just like if there is stains on the wall, you try to remove it with whatever means that you can think of and clean it up and let the wall be free from that stain, correct? That stain is either washed away with water, with some soap, and it's removed, scratched, and leave no mark on your wall, right? The same way. On the board of your mind, not allow anything of this kind to be written and messied up. That's right, only beautiful contributing kind of things on the mind. The Vritti Coach helps you with the help of a technique to remove this non-contributing to contributing and make it contributing. So replace the non-contributing with contributing is the job of a Vritti Coach. So see you again with what is this technique that the Vritti Coach uses in order to replace the non-contributing vrittis with the contributing ones.